Hello, everybody. I'm sorry I haven't been here for a while, but today I have a couple of Quentin Tarantino films that I have in my collection of physical media. So let's start it off with me telling you that I'm a huge fan of Quentin Tarantino. Okay, there's a lot of stuff that you can say that is wrong with Quentin Tarantino as a whole, but I'm not gonna get into that. So I am a huge fan of Quentin Tarantino's films, and I have a couple of them, but I don't have all his collection. I think his 11 films or 10 films or 9 films. I don't know how many films he has at the moment, but I will start off by giving you my collection that I have of his films. So we're gonna start off with this one film that I have, which is Hell Ride, which is a little bit, it's a Dimension Extreme film, and it's Hell Ride, like I just mentioned. But I don't think he had anything to do with this film, even though it says Quentin Tarantino presents. Like some people say, Hostel. I think that's the film that has Quentin Tarantino's name on it, and people say that Hostel was written or somehow he has a connection to that film. But here it is, Hell Ride, as you guys can see. Hell Ride. So it has Michael Madsen from the other movies. But look at what it says here. Written and directed by Larry Bishop, even though Quentin Tarantino's in this as at the top of the film, as you guys can see. Hopefully you guys get to see this. See? Hell Ride. So I have that one. I got this back in the day, I think like $5 or less than a buck. I think I got this for like $1 or so at the Dollar Tree. So as you guys can see, Hell Ride. And that's it for that one. The next Quentin Tarantino film I have that I've always loved, and many people consider this to be peak cinema because of one character that does his best. And we're starting off with Brad Pitt in Inglourious Bastards, a film by Quentin Tarantino, as you guys can see. Here it is. This is another film I have, and I love this film. I watch this from time to time, and I love it. Sure, it's not perfect, but it's really, really awesome. I love it. I really love this film. And that's the thing with Quentin Tarantino, though. Like Quentin Tarantino's the type of director that wants to make his films as long as possible without like boring you, giving you like hours and hours, because that's what Kill Bill Volume 1 and 2 were. Like Volume 1 and 2 was just basically one film that he had to cut up into two because he thought it was way too long. And the next film that I have in 4K is the classic Pulp Fiction. This is like the very first film I ever watched when I got into Quentin Tarantino's films. Pulp Fiction in 4K, which has Ultra HD, Premium, Dolby Atmos, and everything. Dolby Vision, the highest of the highest. So here it is, as you guys can see. This is another one of my favorite films. And I upgraded from the original Blu-ray. Does it really make a difference? I'm not so sure. But having it future-proof 4K, because I don't think they're going to come out with another version, another format, like 8K or what are they going to come out with next? 20K? Like, what's the whole point of that? But I upgraded, as you guys can see. Here is the original one I had for $5 or less. I think I got this for like $5 or so at Target back in the day. So it says that I got Pulp Fiction, so you guys can see that. So let me just show you the previous one. This there's two different things that I like both of the pictures, but one says 10 cents. If you guys can see that, it says 10 cents on the on the Blu-ray, but it doesn't say 10 cents on this one. So they try to make this into like a noir film or like a black and white film that makes you think, like, for people that are barely watching this for the first time, you're like, it's in color. As you guys can see here, wow, it's in color. This one, it's 4K. Is this like a, if people don't look at the back of the film, the back of it, they say, what is this? It's probably a black and white film like Sin City. Like Sin City, that's got its black and white format for the film. But I have both already, as you guys can see. There you go. You guys get to see that. Maybe like that, it looks better. So I got both. I'm gonna pull out two because I consider them to be one film. Okay. But I have two copies. Okay. So as you guys can see, I have two copies here in my hand. So first, we're gonna start off with, I have Grindhouse, a Robert Rodriguez Tarantino double feature. As you guys know what this is already. I got the full film, not the thing that people say like 2 discs of different content or something, or it's the same film, one regular and one extended or something. I don't know what that whole deal was about. But you guys that are watching this for the first time, you guys already know what I'm talking about. So we got this one, the Grindhouse double feature. And I do love the first film, the Robert Rodriguez film. Okay? The second, the Death Proof, is like, yeah, it's a film that's there in this collection, in this version. It's just the film, which when you first watch it, you're like, yeah, it's okay, because it's missing a couple of scenes from the extended version. Okay? But the Grindhouse film, the Planet Terror, is awesome. It's like nasty zombie. It's a zombie film, and I love it. It's like really nasty, gruesome. It's like way different than if you watch a movie like Once Upon a Time in Mexico, Desperado. It's completely different. But if you're like talking about Machete in this film, yeah, you can get that. All these films have the same sort of look, or I mean, not a same look as in filmic look, but it's got the same like desert feel, or like, yeah, like you're out in the desert. That's how the film feels like. But this film is shot a little bit different, which is like old school, but still feels gruesome, and it's crazy. It's a crazy film. So there it is, as I already showed you. So two geniuses, Robert Rodriguez and Quentin Tarantino. The only issue that I have is that Robert Rodriguez has gone down as a filmmaker, in my opinion. I'm not saying that that's 100% true, but that's how it feels like for me. And like I said, I have Death Proof. As you guys can see this, Death Proof is there. But this is the extended version. This is the Grindhouse Presents. So this is like a completely separate film, which still goes with the last film I just showed you. It goes together, but this is just like the extended version. So this is just the extended and unrated version. So as you guys can see that, that's all it is. So it's awesome. Yeah, Quentin Tarantino didn't like this film. He made it, and now he regrets making the film. But in my opinion, it's not the best, but it's awesome to me. Like, I like it. I love it. I love this film, okay? I love this film a lot. It may not be perfect, but It's awesome. To me, it's awesome. I find it comic. Um, it's got some slasher elements, but it's awesome. And the last film that I have, as you guys probably already seen or haven't seen in my previous videos, but here it is. Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. When I first watched this, as many people watch these films, the problem that I've noticed from people watching these films, like all of this, Quentin Tarantino, his filmography, there's stuff that people don't like, and I'll tell you something about that. So when you're watching like a film like Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, you're like, this thing is boring to a regular person that's never watched a Quentin Tarantino film. You watch this and you're like, this thing is boring. But this is also like, it's great in my opinion. It's awesome, wonderful, a wonderful film. It's wonderful. It's not perfect, but it's awesome. In my opinion, it's awesome. So when people watch this for the first time, they're like, "What's going on?" Like if you're just watching this thinking it's going to be it's going to be some action film, it's going to be some top notch action and comedy, and it's some different film. No, this film is not that. This film is slow, but if you pay close attention to the characters, you do get that it's awesome for that. But that's where this is where people lose it with Quentin Tarantino. Like, do you want something, let's say, do you want like slow, or do you want something like this crazy violent film, or you want something like this that's slow and takes its time to tell you the story? So with these two, that's where people lose it. They're like, it's too violent. Like, let's say the film that I have, not in physical, that's why I didn't show you guys. I have digitally, I have Django Unchained. And that one's one of those films that's really gruesome, nasty, and that's what I'm gonna say. It's gruesome and nasty and like super violent, that people say it's way too much violence for me. And then when you watch something like this, it's like, it's too boring for me. There's nothing exciting for the film. So those are the films that I have. You guys can let me know if you like when Quentin Tarantino goes nasty, gruesome, and violent, or do you like when he takes his time to make a film and just gives you just a nice dialogue film with some violence that's not over the top, like throughout the film. It's just like at the ending, like he did with Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Because, like I said, the Django Unchained is one of those films that I love. It's very violent, gruesome, it's over the top. So that's about it, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you guys for watching, and as always, I'll catch you guys in another video.